Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I have the privilege of serving as Connections Director here at Evangelistic Center Church. We just want to say thank you so much for tuning in from wherever you may be viewing us from. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. We believe that God has a word just for you, so let's jump into this amazing message.
Hebrews chapter 10, verses 35 and 36. Hebrews chapter 10, verses 35 and 36. The NIV version says, "So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised." The Message translation says, "So don't throw it all away now. You were so sure of yourselves then. It's a sure thing now. But you need to stick it out, staying with God's plan so that you will be where you need to be for the promised completion." So just for a moment this morning, we want to talk from a subject, walk it out. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, walk it out. Look at the other neighbor and say, neighbor, you got to walk it out. I came across a story of two frogs. Unfortunately, neither was named Kermit, but there were two frogs who found themselves on a dairy farm. And hopping around and jumping around as frogs do, they both jumped into a pail that happened to be filled with milk halfway to the top. So after swimming around for some time, they decided to go out. They figured we had fun in this milk, let's just get out of here. So, but they realized that inside the pail, because of the milk, it was too slippery for them to get out, and there was nothing for them to grip on to help them jump out. So frog number one said, you know what, forget it. I'm tired, I've been swimming around trying to figure out how to get out, so I'm just gonna give up. And so he sank and he drowned. The other frog said, you know what, I'm not gonna give up that easy, I'm gonna keep on swimming, hoping that somehow he would get out. So he swam and swam until he got tired. But by this time, the milk, which as he was swimming, began to stir up and it turned into cream. And it got a little thicker. So he said, okay, well, I'm gonna keep on swimming. Like Nemo, just keep swimming. So when the frog swam some more, he realized that now this cream has turned into butter. You're a smart church. And then he was able to climb on top of the butter to get out. But although while we like to celebrate frog number two, many of us are like frog number one. Some of us, like the first frog, get frustrated and quit at the first sign of opposition. But just imagine if frog number one had hung in there with frog number two, they both would have made it out victorious. This word this morning, I got like 5 more minutes left. This word this morning is it's for those that feel like, you know what, I'm moving, but nothing is changing. I'm coming to church, nothing is changing. I'm giving my tithes and my offering, and I'm doing them give better, do better, do better. I'm giving on all of that stuff, and it's still nothing's happening. I'm believing God for the impossible and coming to church, shouting, dancing, and nothing is changing. I'm trying, but nothing looks different. You're not seeing any results. So I come this morning for the next 3 minutes to encourage you away from your frustration. And the first thing I need to say to you is that you and God are not the same. I'm going to say that again. You, and matter of fact, tell your neighbor, say, excuse me, but you and God are not the same. Matter of fact, find somebody else across the room and say, hey, you and God are not the same. And it's important to know that, and I know we know that, but I think sometimes we forget that we are not the same. That how we measure life and how God measures life are totally different. Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, said the Lord. For as far as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts higher than yours. The Message translation says, I don't think the way you think. That the way you think isn't the way I work. Yeah. It's essential to recognize and accept, I've got 2 more minutes, to accept the contrast between God's perspective and our limited thinking and understanding. Trusting in God's timing is a crucial aspect of our faith and our journey in life. And although often we understand the timing of God, or we say we do, we all know that in his timing, that always doesn't line up with our expectations or the timelines that we set for our circumstances. And if we were to be honest, we can admit that sometimes when we're faced with challenges and situations, in the back of our mind, we have a due date, our coming out date. That we go into a situation, like right now it's November, and so some of us have been dealing with some things for a few months, and we've already made up in our mind that this thing is going to have to be done before the end of the year. And so we waking up every day, hoping, is this my day? I said, well, not today. Well, I'll try to get tomorrow. And we go through this whole process, and we set an expectation when God never really gave us a date. He just promised that he would be with you always. So we will shout and we'll dance, we'll declare the word of God, the goodness of God, right up until that deadline approaches. And then we start panicking. And for many of us, we don't mind waiting. We sing that, don't mind waiting. And for some of us, I look out and we don't sing that song. We let everybody else sing that, because some of us, we mind waiting. And some of us don't mind waiting. We just don't want to wait too long. And throughout Scripture, we find numerous examples, like a minute and a half, of individuals who patiently waited for God's perfect timing. The story of Abraham and Sarah, who longed for a child, but had to wait until pretty much it was humanly impossible for Isaac to be born. Joseph experienced years of hardship and imprisonment before God elevated him into a position of authority. David, who was anointed king, had to wait until God's appointed time before he became king. Though waiting for God's timing may require patience and endurance, we can rest assured that his plans are always worth the wait. Look at your neighbor and say, good things come for those who wait. Psalms 27:14 encourages us that they that wait upon the Lord shall be of good courage. Isaiah 40:31 assures us that, Psalms 27:14 says, wait on the Lord and be of good courage. Isaiah 40:31 says that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Now, don't get me wrong. God can and God will do things suddenly and immediately. We dealt with that last week. And we've seen it done. I've seen it done. You've seen it done. But sometimes there are some things in life that we just got to walk out. That between what we dream and what we see is a thing called process. Between what God has promised and what our reality is a thing we call process. Somebody say process. And if we were to be honest, for many of us, the word process is like a cuss word. So you want me to wait? For what? For why? Why can't I just have it now? Nobody wants to be patient and wait. We want to hear words like prosperity, promotion, promise, all those lovely P words, but not process. We talking about process? My basketball people, I knew. Probably would get 2 people. You got it? Thank you, sir. I got some for you after church. But unfortunately in life, some things that we deal with, we have to walk out, and we have to do what it is that we need to do to get to what God is trying to get, where he's trying to get us to. For many of us, we order stuff online, and we want it like yesterday. Wherever that magical Amazon factory is, that UPS, I don't care where it's coming from. I need it like yesterday. And nothing is more frustrated than getting an email saying your order is being processed. We will let you know when it ships. And for some of us, we constantly refreshing our phone. I promise you, nothing's going to change in 2 or 3 minutes. But that's what we do. We keep checking over and over again, trying to figure out when is it coming, man? When is it coming? Said it's going to be here Tuesday. It's Saturday. I got to wait 2 more days for that package to get here. We get impatient. We don't want the process. We want the promise. And we want it now. I am a huge fan of commercials and jingles. And one of my favorite commercials comes on, and the jingle goes like this. I have a structured settlement, and I need cash now. Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash. Yeah, y'all know that commercial. Matter of fact, I was got home last night, and that commercial came on, and I cracked up because I had it in my notes, and they just go through all these scenarios about how they expecting some money, and they don't want to wait until the settlement comes and go through court and go all that stuff. They want to get their money now. And the lady says, my money, and I need it now. And for some of us, I feel like we have a J.G. Wentworth spirit. It's my blessing, and I need it now. And God, you promised me this in 2003. It's 2023. I need it now. Where is J.G. Wentworth? And once again, I'm not saying that God can't give you what you need right now, but we can't always live life, a life of purpose without process. That we can't just get everything fast and right away and right now. Expedite my blessing, Lord. Send it to me now. I need it. I can't wait. You know how long I've been waiting. Send me. This is what I've learned. This is what people do when they really trying to get you to understand something. They do this with their hands. Like, God, I've been waiting. I've been serving you for a long time. You know, I've been coming to church. I sing in the choir. I'm an usher or a greeter. Like, this is what I do. I serve for you, Lord. Like, why can't I just get it now? Like, why do I have to wait? And it's not that he's punishing you. It's just that he's preparing you for something greater than what you can imagine. We have to walk this thing out, and that's why it's called taking a step of faith. A very popular and anointed man of God by the name of Robert Brown. You may know him by the name Bobby Brown, or as Nippy, what we call it, Nippy, what y'all call Whitney Houston, refers to Bobby Brown as the king of R&B. He wrote a song, and it says that every little step I take, you will be there. Bishop, I know you don't know this, yeah. But every little step I take, I'll send it to you at the church. We'll be together. Really nice song. I'll send it to you at the church. And although the song may or may not have been about God, I believe that there is some truth in these lyrics. That every step I take, God will be there. That every little step I make, we will be together. And you may say, how can you be so sure? Ask me how. Say how. Come on, say it real loud. Say how. Because there's a promise in Matthew 28:20 that says that I will be with you always. And I was growing up in church, and my grandmother would sing a song, and I grew up in a Baptist church, and we would have what you call Baptist fits. Anybody ever seen? Anybody have a Baptist fit? If you haven't seen that, you need to find you somewhere where they still have Baptist fits and enjoy it. It is quite the sight. I have seen people literally hurt themselves having a Baptist fit. Matter of fact, nobody from my church from childhood is here, so I can tell it. My church was so Baptist that we had a nurse's room in the basement. See, y'all don't know about that. What, he had the little hospital bed? Y'all went to the wrong church, I'm telling you. We had a hospital bed with the remote. So it lets up and let down. So when people used to shout and they get tired, they would take them down. Listen to me. It had sheets on it, pillows and everything. I promise you. And they would take them down there and let them rest. And that's what we did. And so I know that sometimes we would have, people would have those Baptist fits. And my grandmother and them, they would sing a song and say, no, never alone. He promised never to leave me. Never to leave me alone. And they would sing that over and over again. And then it would begin to stir up. And next thing you know, the preacher can't even preach because we're just thinking about how he has never left me alone. Anybody here can testify that through your years of living and being with God, that he has never, ever left you alone. And so for my younger crowd that I lost you on that hymn, Todd Delaney wrote a song. And he says that he will never walk out on you. No, never. No, never. That God is with me in the process. Scripture says again, for you have need of endurance, that after you have done the will of God, which is the process, you will receive the promise. Somebody again say process. We all know that when a woman gets pregnant, it takes time before she starts to show. There's the process. It took a process to conceive, and I won't get into that. And there's a process to deliver. And can I encourage those in here who will receive it, that many of you may not be showing right now, but that does not mean that nothing's happening. As a matter of fact, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, your due date is coming, and it's almost time to deliver. Find you another neighbor, say, your due date is coming, and it's almost time to deliver. Although I've never been pregnant, and maybe a shock to some of you, what is wrong with me? I need help. During pregnancy, I've been told that you go through different things. And my wife and I had a discussion when she was pregnant that I thought that sometimes you ladies were making stuff up just for attention. Oh, cramps and stomach. So we got the morning sickness. That's a process. And heartburn. That's a process. Then your feet start swelling up. You gotta put your feet up. That's a process. Then it's the one that gets me. Your hormones start getting all over the place, and you be all emotional and stuff. And men, we try our best to try to understand, but I've been married for 23 years. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't understand. So I just had to take y'all word for it. But then you have the weight gain. You gain weight, and that's a process. And let's not forget the pain of delivery. And like I said, but from what I hear, like I said, I've never been pregnant. Just want to make sure we throw that out there. That when it's all said and done, to be able to finally see and hold what you've been waiting for is worth all the pain, all the discomfort, all the sickness. Somebody say all of it. And I'm no doctor, but I've been told again that walking when you're pregnant, especially in the third trimester, helps the baby achieve optimal positioning. And can I suggest to you that what you're dealing with and what you're having to walk out is positioning you for something greater? That what you're getting ready to be birthed and what's birthing out of you, that what you're walking through and having to walk and what you're having to deal with is only positioning you for something greater. Somebody say something greater. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, walking is good for you. One of the hardest things to do is to walk while it looks like nothing is working. And I know at times it feels like you're circling around and nothing is happening, but can I encourage you just for a moment to keep on walking? Somebody just say, keep on walking. The children of Israel in Joshua chapter 6 were instructed to walk around Jericho for 6 days, and then on the seventh day, walk around the wall 7 times. God said to them that I know you have chariots and you've got a great army to fight, but there's no need to fight in this army. All you need is my presence. He told them to gather the priests and to carry the ark every day. And I believe that he told them not to fight and not to say a word, because when you have his presence, you don't need anything else. I'm going to say that again. When you've got the presence of God, you don't need anything else. That all those days that they walked, they were walking with his presence. And as they begin to walk, I believe, and I can use my imagination, that the presence of God began to just chip at the walls. It's walking, and the presence of God is going, and they chipping at the walls. Day number 2, they get up, and they go, and they walk, chipping away. Day 3, chipping away. Day 4, chipping away. Day 5, day 6. And when it came time for day number 7, the presence of God had already gone before them and done all the work. So all they needed to do on the 7th day was to walk and to praise. And to walk and to shout. Let me see if I can talk to just 1 or 2 praisers in the room that's willing to walk it out and give them a praise no matter what it looks like. That you're willing to look at that wall and what looks like impossible, and that you can walk with confidence and give him praise as you walk, and that you can walk and say, God, I know it may not look like it's good right now, but I praise you anyway. That I know that this thing seems impossible, but I'm going to give you a shout anyway. Do I have about 2 or 3 people that are willing to walk and praise? willing to walk in and to give him praise because your enemy has already been defeated. That situation that looked like it had the best of you has already been destroyed. That debt has been canceled. That your body has already been healed. That your marriage is being restored. It has been restored. You just got to walk it out. Look at your neighbor and say, you just got to walk it out. Come on, say it again. Somebody shout, walk it out. 30 seconds. All right, closing. That was a story of two men. We got Brad and we've got Bill. What's the two names? So smart. Brad was a great runner and entered into a 10K race. The same race that a man named Bill ran, but had completed about 30 minutes ago. But you see, the problem is that Brad had a handicap, and he was paralyzed on his left side from an aneurysm that he had suffered early in life. Now, despite his handicap, Brad still loved to run, and for him to be in the same race as his hero, Bill, was a great accomplishment for him and something that he could not pass. So about 2 hours had passed, and Brad is still trying, and he's still working on getting there. But by this time, they had already taken all the banners down. The cars have started coming back on the road, and there was nothing left to tell you that there was a race that had been run. However, Brad was still running the race and was nearing the place where the finish line was. A couple kids on the bike walked up to Brad and said, hey, man, you do realize that the race is over. You might as well go home. Like, it's been done for over hours. Somebody's already finished, and they've already won. You might as well just quit and go home. And you look like you're tired, like you had enough. Brad looked at those kids, and he said, I can't quit. I have to make it to the finish line because my hero is at the end of the line, and he's waiting on me, so I've got to keep running. And so as he approached the place where the finish line was, Bill and about 30 other people were standing where the finish line was, and they were cheering and they were clapping, and they pulled out the banner that says, you've reached the finish line. And in their hands, they laid out a ribbon on the ground so he can cross over the ribbon. And then Bill took the medal from around his neck and he placed it on Brad and said, you're a winner. So can I encourage you as I close that this race that we in is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but he that endures to the end. And it may seem like the walk you're in isn't worth it, but the devil is a liar. That Jesus, who is my hero, is standing at the finish line. He is waiting on me with the victory banner, ready to lay the ribbon down on the ground and ready to place the medal of victory around your neck. He is here to declare that you are a winner. And I know that it may be hard, and know it may get hard, and it may seem like you're running this race and you walk in this race and that you're never going to make it to the finish line. But can I encourage you to keep on walking? It may feel hopeless and you may seem like, what's the use? But can I encourage you to walk it out? Matter of fact, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, walk on with your bad self. Because Jesus walked to Calvary. He died and then he got up and he walked out of the grave. He walked out of the grave so that I can walk. I can walk in favor. I can walk in freedom. I can walk in victory. I can walk in breakthrough. I can walk with my head up. I can walk without being in defeat because he has already walked the walk for me. So let me encourage you that no matter what you're dealing with, I told you I'm done. I went a minute and a half over, that what you're dealing with, what you're having to face, that God will get the glory. Come on, somebody just say, God will get the glory. As a matter of fact, somebody just lift your hands toward heaven and say, God, get the glory out of my life. Come on, say it again. Say, God, get the glory out of my life. My encouragement to you is today that no matter what you're facing, you just got to walk it out. For you have need of endurance, that after you have done the will of God, after you have completed the process, you will receive the promise. I notice I didn't say you might. I said you will. Come on, somebody just say, I will receive everything. Come on, say like you mean it. Say, I will receive everything that God has promised me. Come on, stand to your feet all over the room.
Thank you so much for watching this message, and we pray that it encouraged you. Our vision is to help people to know God, find freedom, discover purpose, and make a difference so that they can live a better life. And if you would like to partner with us in giving, you can text ECIM with your given amount to 77977 or visit us on our website. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. Check out all our other sermons as well. Our service begins every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now go out and live a better life.